Audience, welcome back to this action versus inaction bias. Today we are rebranding. Okay, today we are rebranding this channel. Okay, and because it is in the very new phase, that's why we have to do this. So this channel is now the Devin Lab, where I'm always this. The message is clear that we are working on things to make it simple, keep it simple, right? Keep it stupid simple. That's what the message is, and we are going to work on that. So the Kiss Lab channel, like the name username was to use in a different property, so that's why I changed it, and now it's the Devin Lab. Okay, so yeah, let's start the video. And guys, this channel is getting much less views right now because people like to play games, or they like to watch streams where others are playing games, right? But they are not going to watch a full video where someone is developing a full game. Okay, if there are two playlists where someone is playing BGMI or PUBG or Free Fire, then people are going to watch that video in maybe 1 millions of views. Okay, so but someone who is developing a game similar to the BGMI, that person will get maybe 1000 view for the first video. Maybe they will get 1 million views, but later on, the more the videos he will make, the lesser the views he will get. Okay, that's the problem, that skill based videos are very detail, and the unique kind of messaging when they deliver, it's it's not that used to, people are not get used to. And the storytelling also, storytelling wise, and people are used to love these kind of videos where they saw visual effects, visual effects, and also the nostalgia, the emotion, and most of the time the rawness, right? The rawness. But because I am making these slides kind of videos, maybe that's the problem, that situation. And I have no problem with making very detailed good quality videos, but the problem is that it will gonna take more time, and I will not deliver every single video based on the schedule I have. So that's why I used to make slides to give these information, and that's why I have to use this particular format to deliver information. But in future you will get really good quality videos, and possibly I will just use my face to show up the rawness, because people either look the rawness of the video or the visuals of the video. Okay, so maybe the presentation is not that level, or the maybe the information is not that level, people are not resonating with it, but maybe someday they will. So let's start today, the action versus inaction bias. Okay, humans don't weigh options logically. We overvalue what's visible, right? Avoid responsibility and grab quick rewards, and also panic when things feel scarce. Okay, so that's what the thing is. Today we are going to talk about feature positive effect, omission bias, hyperbolic discounting, or you can say present bias, and the scarcity and urgency bias. Okay, so let's talk about the action versus inaction. The term understanding our choices, action and inaction bias significantly influence our decision making processes. These psychological tendencies shape how we evaluate risks, leading to choices that may not always align with our best interests. Okay, so let's talk about feature positive effect. So we give more weight to the things that are present than to things that are absent. Okay, that are absent. We most of the time, at the very starting point, we look for things which are present, which are obvious, right? The obvious effect, which is upfront, and we tend to not notice or it seems like the invisible thing, right? We just don't look for it. Okay, so there are some things where things are absent in a design, in aspect where someone is putting their efforts. Maybe there are so many different aspects. Understanding positive bias, the feature positive effect highlight how people tend to focus on available positive information while overlooking negative aspects, often leading to skewed perceptions, especially in decision making. And even sometimes people look for the negative too much that they don't look for the positive itself. Okay, that this bias is feature positive, not emphasizing the positive itself. Okay, so we notice what's added but ignore what is missing. We ignore what is missing. We always tend to think in that aspect. So these are the example, right? Understanding practical exercises, the feature positive effect. First example is that user prefer an apple with 20 features. Okay, with an app, okay, an app, not apple, app with 20 features, even if 10 are useless. Even if 10 are useless. Just think about it. People are going to buy a smartphone which have maybe 400 features. Okay, 400 features, but they are only going to use the 10 features. Okay, people are going to use only 10 features, but they are going to care for the 400 features. Otherwise, there is a similar phone who is good with these 10 features, but they are not offering these 400 features, so people are not going to look for that particular smartphone. Okay, that's the thing. That's why Android have big amount of people buying these kind of phone, Android phone. And that's why iOS phones are not have these much audience, because most of the people are not going to use that much fast processing, right? That much fast graphic, the GPU. Okay, that much capacity of camera, right? People are not going to use that much ability that camera have, but still they look for it. They look for the feature, the camera. Oh, my processor is faster, right? Snapdragon 6 gen 3, 8 gen 3, 9 gen 3 turbo, right? These kind of things, these kind of words. And that's the thing, that they are going to look for more. Okay, what is added? One more example is that a bloated CV with buzzwords feels more impressive than a short focused one. If a resume is like this, okay, picture, this information, 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 done. But if they are not adding some details, right? Like what kind of projects I have made, what kind of hobbies I have, what kind of skills I have, and what I have done with the project within, what kind of internship I had, what kind of improvement happened when I was working in that internship, or I had the experience with. Okay, what kind of challenges I faced in that project. Okay, then adding some links of GitHub, LinkedIn, other so many different links, right? Live project link. So these kind of thing actually make the resume impressive, right? So feature positive effect highlights how we often focus on the positive attributes of options influencing decision making. Engaging in exercises can enhance awareness of these biases. So next is, why doing nothing feels safer. That's a great part. That's a great part. Like in the feature positive effect, I didn't talk about it. Let's talk about it first, because that's what going to be connected with the omission bias. Like more features does not mean more value. Okay, does not mean more value, right? More features does not mean more value. In marketing, brands add bonus feature, right? In marketing, brands add bonus features to make product look superior. So it is not adding value, but it is showing like, oh, there is a value for you. In the most of the landing pages, when you look for those websites, like funnel website, they are going to show you that, oh, we have chat gpt prompts, maybe 10,000 prompts for you, right? But most of you guys are not going to use these chat gpt prompts at all. I'm guaranteeing you, you are not going to use this much prompts. You're not even going to use one prompt either, right? but but they are adding this to show you that it is something valuable. That's the thing. In UX, feature creep clutters design, right? The, in life, we overvalue what's there and ignore what's missing. That's the thing. So, in the omission bias, why doing nothing feels safer? This is like contradictory things, that action inaction. Okay, so like we see harm from action as worse than harm from inaction. Omission bias occurs when people prefer inaction over action. People prefer inaction over action, believing that doing nothing is a safer choice. This bias can lead to missing opportunities and negative consequences in decision making. A country which is falling, a country which have a very weak government, and the politics is actually negatively affecting the people of that country. Still, people are not going to react against it because of this omission bias. Okay, because of this omission bias, because they think that if they do a action, that will cause some kind of life threatening effects, right? Or maybe the economic, or maybe the career related. So they will prefer inaction. Okay, they will prefer inaction for the safety or these three things, even though there is no guarantee that this can be preserved by their inaction. Okay, that's the thing, guys. Omission bias explained. Understanding omission effects. Omission bias occurs when individuals favor inaction over action, often leading to missed opportunities. This bias is critical to recognize in decision making process. This is very important, guys. This is very important. Sometime you have to make a decision. Okay, sometime you have to say what is needed to be said. Okay, but you prefer no, not to say something. You do not open your mouth. You do not, sometimes it is necessary to argue, sometimes it is necessary to win that argument, but you prefer silence. You prefer not to say something, maybe because of like your reputation, or you think that, oh, fighting with this person is not worthy enough. But no, sometimes it is necessary to fight, necessary to win, but you prefer inaction, you prefer silence, and that's actually affect your growth, your success, and even you get frustrated, right? Like an example, that a doctor avoids a risky treatment even if inaction leads to worse outcome. Okay, if a patient is not going to take action on his severe disease, he's going to die. That's a clear thing. Designers avoid sending hopeful do not disturb notification, fearing backlash for interfering, right? So there is a timeline. We always have a timeline for a decision. There are some consequences, good and bad, but we have to take actions, guys. We have to take actions, then we are going to learn from it. Inaction is going to take that opportunity away from you, and you are going to be sidelined from your opportunities, and maybe in your entire life you will not get that second opportunity at all. That's the problem of life. If life sees you as a non-contender, an inactive guy, life will not give you the opportunity again. So this is the problem, that you have to take it, the action. Hyperbolic discounting explained. So before hyperbolic, let me give you some example of omission, right? Like, so like that it leads to paralysis and missed opportunity, and it is somewhat very much connected to the next topic. So like in marketing, brands avoid bold campaigns, right? Brands avoid bold campaigns because of fear of backlash. Because of fear of backlash, you will avoid that advertisement of your own product because you think that my product is not perfect enough. But without advertisement and without people knowing your product exists, they are not going to buy that product, and then they are not going to give you the feedback you needed. The harsh feedback is needed, so then you can eventually make a great product. So this is a loop. You do not understand that there is in this cycle of success, there are some huge gaps, and in these gaps you need to experience some failures, right? Failures occur here, and it is needed for your growth. But you are not going to apply this because of this omission bias. This is really great bias, guys. This is really great bias. You have to learn this in a very deeper manner. So let's move on to hyperbolic discount explain. The power of immediate gratification. Hyperbolic discounting describes our tendency to favor immediate rewards over future benefits, often leading to short-sighted decisions. These biases can significantly impact personal and professional choices throughout life, right? Like we prefer smaller immediate rewards over the larger ones, the larger benefits. Like leaving that cigarette can cause good level of health benefits, but you are not going to do that because every time you smoke the cigarette you get a small level of pleasure. So because of those small pleasures you are going to continue that smoking habit, right? That's the thing. We grab the cookie now instead of wanting for two later, right? So like users choose instant coupon over, there is a coupon, right? Maybe the coupon is not here. Okay, so like user chooses coupons, right? The coupons you already know about it, like 10% off coupon. Users choose instant coupons over big long term savings. Students binge Netflix instead of studying, right? Instead of studying for future exam, for future benefit. Netflix is not going to teach you that enough, you know that, but your skills, your study is going to give you so much help in your life, not only exam but in your life in general. But you're not going to do that. The binge watching is more pleasurous, right? It is more pleasurous. So hyperbolic discounting leads to procrastination, right? It is based on the poor saving, the short termism we say. And in marketing, flash sales and instant bonuses exploit this. Gamified apps give you quick wins to keep users hooked throughout the gaming experience. We delay workouts, diets, or investments for short term comfort. That's the thing. So, hyperbolic discounting illustrates our tendency to prefer smaller, immediate rewards over larger future ones. Engaging in exercises can help you make better long term decisions. These exercises, that you have to understand this thing, right? So, scarcity urgency effect. Scarcity urgency effect. Limited time or quantity makes things feel more valuable, right? Like this highlights how limited availability prompts quicker decision making. This phenomenon influences our choices, urging us to act swiftly due to perceived risk of loss, right? Acting under pressure. This is great. This is great. So, one example is that only two seats left at this price drives faster booking, right? Faster booking. Limited edition sneakers sell out instantly because of scarcity. Scarcity. That's the thing. So we equate rare with valuable. We thought that if this is rare, then it is valuable, even it is not. Okay. So why it matters? Because it creates FOMO. It creates FOMO. And it drives impulsive action, emotional action. Okay, it is emotionally driven. So countdown timers, limited stock, and flash sales are example of scarcity urgency effect. In UX, urgent CTS push conversions, like, oh, buy it now, buy now, buy it now. So we rush decisions when told last chance. So that's the thing, guys. Scarcity urgency effect illustrates how limited availability can drive decision making. This phenomenon often leads customers to act quickly to secure perceived benefits. So these are the action versus inaction biases, which actually affect not only your life but also going to affect my life. Okay, because of your action and inaction. So overcoming inaction bias. Effective planning helps to structure tasks and reduce overwhelming things, right? Breaking tasks down in breaking tasks down into smaller steps makes them more manageable. Seeking feedback fosters improvement and increases motivation to act. Feedback is necessary, guys. That's why you have to join the communities where people are working on those skills or those things which you want to become great at. Building confidence through small wins encourages further action and progress. Overcoming action bias. Feature positive effect highlights positive options over negatives. Omission bias favors action to avoid perceived negative outcomes. Hyperbolic discounting leads to prioritizing immediate rewards over future benefits. Scarcity and urgency effect creates pressure, influencing decision making under time constraint. So that's the thing, guys, and that's where, yeah, this is the case study in action bias. Very, it's not a case study. So understanding how decision making impacts user experience is crucial. Real world tech examples illustrate how action and inaction bias shape design, influencing user interfaces and engagement in digital environment. You have to apply this thing. If you are a UX designer, app developer, you have to apply this action inaction biases in your design. So this is where the conclusion is, guys. Like, and on the perspective level, you can ask yourself that, am I valuing this just because it has more stuff? Ask yourself these kind of questions and look for those examples in your real life, right? Like, am I trading a bigger future gain for smaller present, right? Do I want this because it's valuable or just because it's rare? So just write this down. Write the decision. Note one decision you avoided, even though action was better. Note your decision when the action was necessary, but you actually avoided at that time. Okay, you avoided action, and why you avoided that action at that time? Maybe you want to say something, like your colleague, your leader, someone is talking to you, your relative maybe, and you stayed silent, right? You stayed silent, you didn't say something which is necessary to say at that time, and now you feel regret. So what that is, and why you should avoid that thing if similar thing happen to you in the next time, right? So focus on essential, right? Highlight missing pain, solved. Don't fear helpful intervention, right? And use urgency ethically. Avoid manipulative dark patterns. We are going to talk about the dark patterns, in UI UX, okay? And you are going to learn very great level of details in that video. So guys, humans don't just make choices, we avoid delay and rush them. We overvalue what's visible, fear acting, grab quick rewards, and panic when things feel scarce, right? So this is how we are going to conclude this video with the new branding of the Taven Lab. Keep it simple, build it bold. Thank you so much. Bye bye.